got something to rant about.
Right.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of your General Rant with your gracious hosts, Nathan and Callum. Thought you were going to enter your name here, but now I'm just doing the entire intro. I'll take away the entire podcast if you really want to, which is probably what I am going to do because today is a very special episode of the General Rant. I'm waiting for you to speak, Callum. Okay, so today's a very special episode of the General Rant. And we're going to be...
This isn't special. This is the usual. It's always high quality content, and there's nothing changing this week.
Okay, fine. It's just high quality content all year round. I mean...
This is different, though. It's not special. It's different.
Well, it's not that much different because we're going to be doing this a lot more now.
Your podcast is so much better than everybody else's.
My podcast?
Well...
I mean, yeah, you should listen to my podcast. It's called Listen to Nathan Masturbate for 40 minutes.
Ugh, what the fuck? Why did you say that? You're literally like a minute in and you've already brought out your dick.
It's only on porn. It's a Pornhub exclusive, really.
Okay, the fact you know what that is in itself is worrying, so...
Hey, how are you, Callum? Are you okay?
No, not after what you just said. I'm always going to wear headphones in my room, just in case I catch the sounds of fapping from upstairs.
Oh, God.
No, I'm alright. I'm a bit bored, really.
Yeah, same.
Same.
Life's a bit boring at the moment. I hope everyone's isolation is going very well.
Yeah. Ours has just been... We've sort of been escaping our world by having a virtual Minecraft world.
Yeah.
But even that, now I'm a bit like, my existence in Minecraft is maybe more fulfilling than my existence in real life.
I mean, yeah. I wish there was like a real life Jumanji type thing where we could go into the Minecraft world. I mean, it could just be called the real world because we can still build things.
We should get Monopoly on the Xbox.
No, I will kill you. I get really competitive over that game.
So do I. So why can't I?
Ah, okay,
That's how capitalism works, baby.
Ah, I see. It's not
Um,
just a fun-loving family fun game. It's about murder. Really.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's about...
Waiting for people to die off so you can buy their land.
Yeah, I mean, and like making people go bankrupt, which can cause a lot of like rise in, I don't know, like suicide. Yeah. You're killing these people with the Monopoly world.
Yeah, sorry, getting back to it. Yeah, I'm alright. I'm just, like I said, a bit bored. And I'm just kind of like... I don't know, because you just don't know what's going to happen next at the minute.
I know.
And it's a bit, it's like every time you look on the news, it's basically something different.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Boris Johnson's got it.
he was saying the other day, oh, yeah, I've been making sure. I don't know why I said it like that.
Oh, yes!
He was saying the other day how, despite the fact he was going to a hospital full of people who had coronavirus, he was still going to shake everybody's hand because that's what a good prim and proper prime minister does, and it's like, you're an idiot.
Why would you do that?
This combined with what he said the other week, where he said we need better science. It's like, what does that even mean?
But it could be worse. It could be Trump. Do you know what I mean? I've read a lot of things about Trump recently, and
he's fucked that country. But I mean, Boris is also kind of fucking us. Like, I'm not going to get too political, but basically, I think he's left a lot of people feeling quite insecure about what is going on exactly with their life, including myself. I don't really know, because they said they're going to do all these like grants and things to ensure you get paid, but then they're not really doing anything past that. They've just said they're going to do it, and it's like, pull the finger out, lads.
Yeah. Pull
the finger out of your coronavirus bottom and get on with it. But anyway, that's been it. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm slowly going a bit more insane every day, I think. I got really annoyed. Like, this morning, it was like, I think I woke up, it was like 3 o'clock. And I just got really annoyed at myself. And I went downstairs and like to get a glass of water. And I got really annoyed at myself for absolutely no reason. I was like, Nathan, you fucking idiot. And I was like walking up the stairs going, why the fuck is your life like this?
That's what I woke up to. No, it wasn't that. But no, mate, everyone's in a bit of a pickle right now.
Yeah, to be fair, actually, it's kind
literally, this if anything, is a fantastic excuse for a few years' time, and people are like, why didn't you do more stuff in your 20s? And it's like,
Coronavirus, mate. Yeah.
Really stuck a fucking oar in there, didn't it?
I mean, it's made me realise actually a lot of things recently were like that I don't need, like necessities and things like that. Like not that I don't need. It's made me enjoy the things that I took for granted a lot more serious. Do you know what I mean? Like meeting up, like pub. I mean, I took that as I was pretty much obsessed with the pub anyway. I would never have taken that for granted. But I just think it like seeing people and things like that, and like having communication like that, and like work as well. Like even though I'm working from home at the minute, like going in just to see the boys and the girls and the people at work it makes work a lot more fun, and just sat around doing like work at home.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. I mean, I've got you, but at the same time, like if I'm working, I can't really talk too much, if you know what I mean.
No, and also, I mean, if we didn't have like 8 hours in the day where we're not talking, could kill you.
Yeah, I would be dead. I would be dead. The biggest fear wouldn't be coronavirus, it'd be Callum virus. And Callum virus is your two fists going right into my face.
I mean,
it's like,
I kind of, when you're working at home, it's just a lot of, oh, fucking idiot. When you're just like looking at an email from someone or something like that, where you're like, oh, are they fucking kidding me? Honestly. I enjoy it though. It's fun. I don't know. It's just weird. I think the key is trying to give yourself a kind of schedule.
Yeah.
So like I have most days this week been going on a run. Then I've been doing a bit of some weights back here. Been lifting up a few chairs, a few bags of sugar, you know, all that kind of stuff.
A couple of cartons of milk.
Yeah.
Tins of beans.
More tea in your milk, Nathan.
A stick with two apples on it, and you keep like biting little chunks off as you go.
Yeah. Give Nathan £1 million now to make apple exercise.
You get 1 of your 5 a day. Well, technically 2 of your 5 a day. Or does like 1 apple just count as one?
I think you're meant to have a different
fruit. Okay, fine.
You can't just have 5 bananas and be like, job fucking done.
Yeah, but
because then you could have, you know, like 5 bean salad. You could just have one of those every day,
and you've got yourself
just slide out the can straight down your throat.
Yeah,
you know, it's all lubed up from all that brine it's in.
Yeah, it's gross. I want to say actually a quick rant actually about people.
Oh, before we get on to the important stuff.
Yeah, is that I've discovering like a lot of people, like when I'm returning emails. Sorry, I stopped shaking my leg. When I'm replying to emails, I've had like a few emails where people have been moaning about the fact that things are delaying or like because of this, and it's not their fault. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's also not our fault, because you can prepare for as much as you want. Like you can prepare for a fucking war, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be difficult. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get, I'm trying to be polite because I'm replying over like email to these people. But I'm also like, but you have to understand that it is nobody's fault right now. Like I get it that if you're going to be in this kind of dire situation, I'm in a situation that I don't want to be in. I don't want to be sat at home replying to your shitty email about a shitty virus. But that's what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? Right? I'm not a trained health expert. I'm not gonna be able to answer all your questions. I can answer anything about your mortgage if you really wanted to, but just not about the virus. So keep it just to the topic. Do you know what I mean? Keep your emails to your topic. Sorry, that's my rant about work. Anyway, are we ready to crack on with today's topic of the podcast?
Yeah, take it away.
So Callum.
Oh,
Callum.
Yes.
Can you do me a favour? And can you spell Looney Tunes for me, please?
LUNEYTUNES. Oh no. No. LUNEYTOONS.
Okay, all of those were all wrong. Looney is just spelled LOONEY for starters. However, you got it wrong because most people think it's spelled TOONS, but it's not. It's spelled like tunes, as in tunes, like music.
I'm a Looney Tune.
Yeah, but it's actually pronounced tunes, as in TOONS, which is a common misconception. and leads us on to our topic for today, which is the Mandela effect. Well, not so much the Mandela effect; it's a bit more in depth. It's into false memories.
Oh, I see. This is
And
the Mandela effect is
It
too
was
basic.
it was only dubbed the Mandela effect in 2010, but this has actually been a psychological. Psychological a psychological analysis thing for like over like 150 years or whatever. So without further ado,
G.O. boy. Okay, let's get into
G.O. boy. I've got like 7 pages to read through. No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Oh no, please. I've got all the time in the fucking world.
So so people know it as the Mandela effect because people in because basically Nelson Mandela died on the 5th of December 2013. He did,
and he had that really funny funeral.
Yeah.
Where the guy who didn't do sign language was trying to do sign language.
Have you ever seen that for like the In-Betweeners, where the In-Betweeners sign language person is doing it, and he's like calling people a wanker and shit. Yeah. He's like, wait. I mean, people can't see what I just did, but I just did the wanker sign. Yeah. Anyway. So Nelson Mandela, he died on the 5th of December 2019. However, there were countless people all over the world that specifically remember him dying back in prison in the 1980s when he, bombed a fair few people.
Not what happened.
Is it not?
No.
He did. He set up a car bomb.
He didn't kill people.
No, he didn't kill, but he kind of did. Not himself. Not himself, but there was like a whole thing about it. Do you remember? Reading about it in history?
I mean, he was a political activist.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
So, he died in prison after he did that whole thing. But it was like first theorized back in like 1900s, like the early 1900s, by Sigmund Freud, who is just a fucking nutsack anyway. And you could do an entire episode on that guy, like doing cocaine and shit like that. And a guy called Pierre-Marie Félix Jeannette. He's French or some shit.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the most French name I've ever heard.
And they both worked on the memories between childhood trauma and how they affected memories that you have of that trauma as an adult. And there was like heavy discussions in regards to this work. Basically, what had happened was, I think it was like in the 1930s, there was this whole like thing against Freud's work after he died, because he was basically saying to people, oh, you went, and he was like putting false memories into the people that actually hadn't gone through as bad of childhood trauma that they had done, and it was like a big whole law case thing. We'll get to that in a little while. But there was a big experiment in 1974 by a lady called Elizabeth Loftus and a gentleman named John Palmer. And they basically wanted to see how many people would create false memories based on like a scenario. So what they did was, the first test included 45 participants who were randomly assigned to watch different videos of a car accident, in which separate videos had shown collisions at 20 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour, and 40 miles per hour. And afterwards, participants filled out a survey. The survey asked the question about how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other. The question was always asked the same thing, except the verb used to describe the collision varied. Rather than smashed, other verbs used were bumped, collided, hit, and contacted. Participants... Ooh, sorry, my thing just went down. Participants estimated collisions of all the speeds to average between 35 miles per hour and just below 40. If actual speed was the main factor in the estimate, it could be assumed that the participants would have lower estimates for lower speed collisions. Instead, the word being used to describe the collisions seemed to better predict the estimate, to estimate in speed rather than the speed itself. So, it's a bit complicated. But the second experiment was basically showing the videos of the car accidents again, but this time it was with 150 people. And those in the first conditions were asked the same question using the verb smashed. The second group were asked the same question in the first study, replacing the word smashed with hit. And the final group were not asked about the speed of the crashed cars. The researchers then asked the participants if they had seen any broken glass, knowing that there was no broken glass in the video. The responses to this question had shown that the difference between whether broken glass was recalled or not heavily depended on the verb used. The largest sum of participants in the smash group declared that there was broken glass. So basically what they were trying to do was see if the way that you were told something, or the verbs that were used to like a visual stimuli, would affect your memory of them. And like 90% of people on that that used the word smashed, you said that there was glass there, but if you had the word hit, most people didn't do that. So they were kind of like fabricating all these false memories and things like that, which I thought was pretty damn interesting. So that's what it kind of brought up. The second study indicates that the phrasing of the question gives expectations to previously ignored details and therefore a misconstruction of our memory recall. This indication supports false memory as an existing phenomenon. So a lot of these theories are to do with word manipulation, how the words kind of changing the word can do a lot of things to create all these false memories. So if you had like a video of a car going past a road and then said, did you see a stop sign, or did you see the stop sign when looking at the stimulus, you'll much rather to go, yeah, I did, if you said, even if there was no stop sign in the video, to say on the, because the has a like the connotation that there is a stop sign, whereas if you said, did you see a stop sign, you might go, no, I didn't.
Because one is a question asking you whether there was
but
one,
if
and
there's
one was saying, did you see the one that is there?
But if there was no stop sign in the video, you're more likely to say yes on the stop sign.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
because you've still basically been told that there is one, therefore you must answer yes.
So here's a question for you, just as a little thing. Did you ever have any false memories as a child?
How would I know they're false?
Like, as in, did you have any memories where you know that they're false now? Like, you're like, oh, I remember doing this, and you said to your parents, like, oh, I remember this, and then they've gone, that didn't happen.
No.
Did you not?
No.
Oh, I had this really weird one as a kid, where I was stood on top of the stairs, and I remember teleporting down the stairs, but I know that I didn't teleport, because I'm not...
You fell.
You got pushed. Yeah. But I remember, like, closing my eyes, and the next minute I was down the stairs. I remember asking my parents why I did that, and they just said you would just run down the stairs with your eyes closed, but I would actually just think that I just teleported down the stairs. But till I was about 13 or 14, I believed that I could teleport down the stairs.
Did you ever do it after that point, or was this a one-off teleportation?
No, it was like a big thing that I used to do when I was like 5 till I was about 7 or 8.
I mean, I just don't have any kind of... All my memories are real that I know of. Unless... No, I don't know. I just don't think I have any. No. I'm sorry, I'm false memoryless.
Well, you may think that, but you probably do have a fair share of false memories, because one of the things I've read about is that a lot of creative people, because of their imagination, create a lot more false memories than a lot of people who don't. Do you think that's true?
I did burn that place down once. No, that was definitely real. I don't know. I can see where it's come from. I just can't think of any right now. Some might pop to me though. Some might pop up to me. You never know. I think there's probably more around to do with school than anything else. But then I don't know. I remember everything quite clearly. I'm fairly sure it happened. What if my life's a lie?
Well, I think that because I definitely think that I've definitely fabricated some memories in my life. But yeah, it's really weird. The another thing as well is social pressure. So if you're in a big group and someone says something enough, you're more likely to believe it.
Mob mentality.
Yeah.
That's why people beat people up.
Yeah. I guess
it's like football hooliganism. It's like all to do with the fact that you're in a big group. It's partly to do with peer pressure. But it's like gang mentality, where it's a bit like, yeah, fuck it, I'll throw a brick at a police car.
Yeah, or like, beat up a horse, a policeman on a horse.
No, beat up the horse. Leave the policeman alone. Just beat the shit out of the horse. I'm going to turn you into glue. Tesco burger. Yeah. It's very interesting. I mean, I have no qualms with that, but yeah, I think that is pretty mad. Have you got any other false memories that you can think of?
Yeah, well, I remember. Right, so this is really, really weird. You remember the bush push thing at school?
Yes.
I vividly remember it being Sammer that was dressed up in the nerd outfit, when it wasn't. It was Harry.
Nerd outfit?
Yeah, do you remember when we bush pushed Harry?
Yeah, I remember that. He was in the nerd. I remember that quite clearly. Yeah.
But I remember that being Sammer, not Harry.
Kusama got hit a lot.
But the thing is, it's like when I was reading up about it, is that a lot of false memories can come from two conjoined memories. And I remember from when Sama did the dolphin dive into the bush instead of being pushed in, and then I just mixed those two up. Ooh, spooky.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I feel when there probably are some for me. I think they're probably just not that big. Do you know what I mean? But I remember, this is a good example. I think me, you, and Jack were talking about it, and we were talking about when we went out for your birthday drinks. But I think it was you or Jack thought that like Robbie and Dylan had been there for your birthday drinks, but they hadn't. That was for my gig.
Yeah.
You'd imagine that they were at your birthday.
That was Jack that had thought that. Yeah. But they weren't there. How spooky.
You're great friends.
Apparently as well, if you have more false memories, it means that you have... I'm not saying anything about myself or anything. But you have a highly superior memory, which I think is quite ironic to have a high superior memory and actually not be able to remember things perfectly.
Maybe it's accounting into the fact you've got so many memories, that's why they get jumbled up.
Yeah.
I have a shit memory.
Yeah, you do. Actually, I'll tell you what, I got a message from someone the other day who said, "Oh, happy birthday for the other day, by the way." And it wasn't my birthday, it was my brother's birthday the other day, and they fully thought it was my birthday. And I was like, "You do realise my birthday's not now, it's in like September or some shit." And they were like, "Oh.
Idiots.
What bloody idiots."
Right,
there is actually an actual disorder though, with false memories. Is your computer turned off?
No, it can hear you.
Sorry. There's an actual like memory disorder where people, it doesn't like affect them. Like the false memories, that what they found is like most people's, like 99% of false memories don't affect your life as a whole. It just affects like a certain memory that you have, and it doesn't impact you in any way. But there's actually a disorder which was found, I think it was like in the 1950s, where it actually changed like a person's entire lifestyle and created all these like false fantasies and things like that, and actually changed their like sexual orientation. Like they were interested in men or women, and then they became interested in the opposite gender just from one false memory. And it's insane, like the amount of people that, like, there's not a lot of people that have this, but there is a fair few, if you know what I mean, which is pretty insane. Like you never know if your memories are true, and then you just think, oh, one day I'm gay. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, there is a way to know if memories are true though.
I mean, you just ask someone who was there.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I don't know. It's more difficult, I suppose, though, with sexuality and things like that.
Because, I mean, yeah, it's not like just you wake up and you're gay. It's just like over like years of false memories, you can think that.
No, but I'm saying you can't objectively prove to somebody about what your gender is. Like Philip Schofield.
Yeah. I mean, he was married for 27 years.
Yeah, has 2 children, but he's gay. So,
gay.
You know.
You got to come out when you got to come out.
Yeah, you do. Anyway, carry on.
I mean, there was this really weird thing that happened with a lady called Maxine Berry. And there's like a thing with lawyers where there was a massive like issue back in like the 2000s and like the late 90s where some lawyers over like a period of time just started using false memories in like sexual assault cases to like, if they were to try and like get the victim to say that they were sexually assaulted when in fact they weren't, or vice versa. It was kind of real messed up. And there was this one called Maxine Berry. She grew up in custody of her mother, and she basically didn't want her father to have any contact with her. When the father expressed his desire to attend his daughter's high school graduation, the mother enrolled Maxine in therapy, ostensibly to deal with the stress of her father. The therapist pressed Maxine to recover memories of sexual abuse by her dad. Maxine broke down under the pressure and had to be psychiatrically hospitalised. She actually, this is quite disgusting actually, she did go under tubal ligation, which is the more normal term for like being sterilised. So she couldn't have any children and repeat.
Why?
Huh?
Why was she sterilised?
So they basically sterilised her so that she couldn't have any children and repeat the cycle of abuse.
Why would they do that?
Because it was messed up. Because
Where was this? Sorry, in America.
Yeah. I forgot to put down where they were.
What?
Yeah, it's nuts.
So
isn't it?
if you get abused in this place, they just sterilise you.
Yeah. This was in.
What if you've had a false memory about remembering this case?
I mean, this was in. I think it was in America. Oh no, it was in fucking England. I'll find out in a sec, but yeah, she was basically sterilized, and then.
Wait, so I can't get my head around this. She was sexually abused.
Yeah.
Was she sexually abused or not? Sorry.
Well, I'm getting to the end of it.
Right. Okay. Carry on then.
She had to be sterilised. So they did that to her so she couldn't repeat the cycle of abuse. With the support of her husband and primary care physician, Maxine eventually realised that her memories was false and filed suit for malpractice. The suit brought to light the mother's manipulation of mental health professions to convince Maxine that she had been sexually abused by her father. In February 1997, Maxine sued the therapist and the clinic that treated her from 1992 to 95, made her falsely believe that she was sexually and physically abused as a child when no abuse had ever occurred. The lawsuit filed in February 1990 in Minnehaha. Don't know where that is.
Sorry?
South Dakota. It was in South Dakota.
So it wasn't in England?
No.
It was in South Dakota.
South Dakota. But that website said England. States that...
Is that going to say Minnesota?
Yeah, maybe it does.
Okay.
States that therapist Linda O'Connor Davies had an improper relationship with Berry during both during and after her treatment. The suit also named psychiatrist Vale Williams and Dr. William Fuller of the Charter Hospital and Charter Counselling Centre as defendants. They did sort it out though, and they got an undisclosed amount of money, which was pretty insane. But that's really weird how like that can be done, like to destroy someone's life using false memories.
So the clinic were the one who said to her, the psychologist were the one who said you should sterilise yourself.
Yeah.
So they didn't force her to get sterilised. That's what I thought you meant.
But in a way they did, because they planted the false memories in her head of her having abuse.
Why did they do that though?
Because they were just fucked up people.
Or did they do that because they thought that was the only way to explain her psychological condition, do you think? And they were just guessing?
I mean,
either way,
they are messed up people that should not have done that.
I think with psychology as well, there's so many... there's a lot of ethical guidelines in it now. And even up to, I'd say fairly recently, like a lot of the guidelines are still being changed and updated. Like if you look at a lot of the original psychological studies, for example with Freud and stuff like that, like you couldn't do them now.
Oh no, I mean there was like the whole Stanford prison experiment, which was like from like I think it was the 80s. That was about like they got like a bunch of people to pretend to be police officers, and then a bunch of people to pretend to be prisoners, and they just locked them up and like let them do what they wanted, and it was fucking horrific. Like there were people that were just being like beaten up and things like that, and there was like a whole thing about it. It was crazy.
Yeah, and there's even more mad ones than that. But yeah, the old psychology thing is like weird, but then arguably some of the things that aren't ethical do also bring about the best groundbreaking research. So depends what you want to do, really.
Catch-22. If you want.
It is definitely catch-22 because it's like a lot. Like I said, so many of the studies that are relevant in ways now like couldn't be allowed now either. So it's kind of a tough one, isn't it? Anyway, please continue with your report.
So I'm going through. So there's like loads of different things. Do you know how? Do you know how? So there's like loads of common ones. And I actually phoned my mum about some of these because it was quite funny. But like Febreze, most people think Febreze is spelt with double E-Z-E. It's not. It's just one E. It's mental.
Also grammatically incorrect.
I know. It shouldn't. It should be double E-Z-E.
Do you think that's a false memory, or do you think people are just correcting it in their head?
I think people
are wrong. Like Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I mean, people. I think that's probably
it's a cartoon. Why would it be spelled toon?
I don't know, but I think that it's probably something to do with like the correction, trying to be like, oh, this is more believable.
Grammatically
But
correct.
then there was one about I've just gone off the page. There's in Bologna, is that how you pronounce it? There's like a Bologna railway station. There's a clock, and after this bombing that happened there, people believed that the clock stayed still on the time of the bombing because it was broken, when it actually hadn't. It had been working. It was like just about a week or two later it had actually been fixed. The only other time it stopped was, I think it was on the anniversary of the bomb. It stops at the time, and it's just put to the time for the day. But people in Bologna still believe that it's not working.
Not if you tell them that.
I mean, yeah, I could tell them that, but they would be like, some of them are like, nope, it don't work. And people just cement it in their heads for false memories. It's very crazy.
Is that what happens though with this Mandela situation? Like if you tell people, because you just told, I'm pretty sure people after being told are just like, yeah, okay.
Some people, most 99% of people would be like, oh, right, shit, fair enough. But then they would still believe that they had that memory in their head of Mandela dying in a prison.
I don't know anybody who thought Nelson Mandela was dead.
No, but there wouldn't be a study on it if there wasn't.
No,
you know
but
what I mean?
I'm just saying, but after getting told, do people still believe that?
I mean, probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely is now dead.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Or
he's
is
dead
he?
now, but I'm saying after you get told someone's not dead, you'd surely just be like, yeah, right.
That was one. Curious George doesn't have a tail, and I
Oh my goodness.
fully believed he did as
He
an
should
adult.
do. He's a monkey.
That's-
Again, the people are imagining things that should be correct.
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. Everyone knows it's Sex in the City anyway, but people keep thinking it's Sex in the City. But I think that's more of a confusion thing, because there is
It's Sex in the City.
it's Sex and the City.
Yeah, everyone's always.
Yeah, but that's what I just said. Like, no
yeah,
one.
What is this? Is this on BuzzFeed?
No, it's just called goodhousekeeping.com.
Okay.
These are just 40 of the Mandela effect examples.
40. My
Yeah,
God.
there's
they
so
are,
many
They
of
are
them.
good house.
There's Febreze, spelt correct.
Or for the Bretzy, as I think it's called.
I think
now.
some of them are American anyway, like Fruit Loops. I've never had Fruit Loops. Have you ever had Fruit Loops?
No, because I'm not a
No.
Yank.
Oh, the one about I always thought he had a little chicken drummy in his hand, but he doesn't. He has I think that's a croissant.
A
But it's
coin
not.
bag.
A coin bag.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a rich man.
Explain what's going on. To
Oh,
people,
sorry,
just
yeah.
So they know because
Henry VIII. Apparently he didn't have a turkey leg in his hand. It was always like a little coin bag or something like that.
I don't ever remember that even being. a thing.
No, because I do remember that. I remember seeing that picture and be like, oh, that guy's.
There
such
might be a
fat-"
picture of him with a turkey leg though. Have you ever thought that there's two pictures of him?
I mean, maybe.
Just like there might. Do you know what I mean? Like,
But if you were a king, would you want to be known as the Fat King? If you had a turkey
who
leg?
actually saw that photo until fairly recently? Because it would have just been up in a castle somewhere. I think he wouldn't have given a shit, would he?
I mean, he's dead now. He doesn't really care.
Yeah.
The Monopoly Man doesn't have a monocle. Everyone believed he did. Pikachu doesn't have a black thing on his tail. It's brown at the bottom. But a lot of people remember it like that. Not like that.
That's weird.
Crazy. Kit Kat doesn't have a hyphen. I always thought Kit Kat had a hyphen in it, but it doesn't. See, look at this. My high superior brain. Oh, do you remember this brand, Fruit of the Loom? Who did like the school uniform and things like that?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah. Everyone always thinks of it with a cornucopia, but it doesn't have a cornucopia. Look at this. Look at the world that we're living in.
Wow. I mean, I didn't think that.
Oh, and C-3PO has a silver leg, not a gold leg, in the first episode of Star Wars. But no toys ever showed it with a silver leg. It was just in the films.
Oh, that's George Lucas giving
George
us
Lucas,
false memories.
yeah,
And
George-
that's really played with my childhood. That has.
To be fair,
That's
it
given me
played-
deep psychological problems.
It played with my childhood quite a lot. I was traumatized by it.
Okay.
But and he doesn't say.
Who?
Darth Vader doesn't say, Luke, I'm your father. He says, I am your father. He doesn't say Luke, but most people say, Luke, I am your father.
Do you think people do that just so people know who he's talking to?
No, because you wouldn't, if you were quoting a film, you wouldn't.
No,
you would-
because you could just say, I am your father. That could be anything. But if you say Luke beforehand, people are like, Luke, Star Wars. Oh, I am your father. Yeah, that all links together. Do you not think people would have just done that as like a more handy thing? Or
I mean, maybe.
yeah, that's what I'm saying in
way.
terms of context, because that is quite a standard line. I'm your father.
Is it?
Look,
Is it how many times have you heard someone say that to you?
In a family sitcom, so many times. I am your father. Listen to me.
Just someone going down the street and be like, I'm your father.
Yeah. But that's such a basic sentence, isn't it? Because it's not like a big extended long bit of monologue. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. And then Gandalf, when he says, fly you fools. I mean, I've always known it to be fly you fools, not run.
Mm-hmm.
Have you?
I can't. To be honest with you, I can't remember the films that well.
Oh, they're all on Netflix. You should watch them all.
I maybe will.
And yeah, like there's just loads. There's just loads of things that you don't realise that have changed in your head since you were a kid. But yeah, I just wanted to discuss about false memories.
So do you think the Mandela effect is a real thing?
Yeah, 110%.
I think it's bollocks.
I don't. I think it's 110%.
Absolute shit.
No, it is.
I don't want to. I mean, it's good that you've done the research on it. I think false memories can definitely be planted, but I don't know this whole like pop culture-y like.
No,
oh
I
my
do.
God, it's so zany. C3PO had a silver leg. Oh, that everything's a lie. It's just because they made toys without him having a silver leg. That's the only reason. They could have one with him with a green head, and you'd be like, what?
No, I think it's a real thing. I think it's a very real thing. Because you do. It's just
such a load of bollocks.
No,
I'm sorry, it's such bullshit.
It is 100%.
The problem is with this is all of these examples are from like cartoons and shit. I want more history. Are there any more ones that are from history that are like, this is big news, like this is important? Because Nelson Mandela being dead or alive, that's an important thing.
Yeah, people believe him to be dead.
Not people thinking that Fruit Loops is spelled differently.
I mean, yeah, but that's just visuals. One second, I will prove you wrong.
Cool, you've been really searching on Google, haven't you? My God.
Yeah. I did read this one thing earlier about it being linked to alternate realities.
Oh my God. Fuck off. This is what I mean. I bet you it's linked to flat Earth as well, isn't it? Everyone remembers that Earth has been flat. It's actually not, it's round. Nathan is furiously searching in order to find some more historical examples of something.
Well, I'm on the Independent, which is I mean, I can't find any right now. I have to do a proper look, but I'll find some.
You'll find some?
Yeah, I'll find loads.
Do you want to come back? Do you want to go through? Do you want me to talk about what I've been reading and watching, and you can continue googling?
Yeah,
whilst you do it, and we'll come back to you at the end of the episode. Yeah. Nathan, you've got about 5 minutes, if I waffle, to prove to me that this fucking garbage theory is true.
It is true.
It's not true.
It is true.
It's a load of fucking horseshit.
You told me that Looney Tunes is spelled differently than how it actually is.
Because I don't give a shit about Looney Tunes.
Yeah, but you know.
It's not an important thing in anyone's life. It's not an alternate reality. So anyway, guys, whilst Nathan's typing away there, we're going to go into what I've been reading, watching, listening to. He is typing like a fucking madman. So, in regard to what I've been watching this week, I've been watching rather a lot of murder documentaries actually, where, you know, people just know what happened because they didn't believe something about someone having a false coloured leg or something. I've been watching quite a lot of murder documentaries. I started that Tiger King thing on Netflix, and looking forward to watching the rest of it. It looks like a big old series.
The documentary?
Yeah. Started watching season 6 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine because they put it onto Netflix the other day, which I think the whole nation is crying out for better Netflix selections, because otherwise we are fucked in this isolation period. I think season 6 is pretty damn good, I've got to say. I think one of the benefits is that they have they're a bit looser on the language restraints, so I think they can actually use slightly stronger vocab just to make it a bit funnier every so often. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's one of those shows which is like, how much more can they do? Every season is essentially, the NYPD's in trouble. No, they're going to fix it. Someone's going to get promoted or demoted. And that's pretty much every season. But you know what? I fucking like it. It's lighthearted and it's funny and it's nice entertainment. So that's really what I've been watching. I've been watching a fair amount of of actually watching people whilst they're doing podcasts as well.
Like a video pod.
Yeah, kind of. So there's been some good stuff from True Geordie. I always like him. Well, I'm a Geordie. I'm really true as well. I like him. He's been really good. And also Joe Rogan. I don't like everyone that Joe Rogan has on because he has on some fucking knobheads. But it's always interesting to see him talk about that sort of stuff. So that's what I've been watching this week. When it comes to reading, despite the fact I've had a lot of time on my hands, I haven't actually been reading that much. I've been reading a fair amount of news about all this coronavirus stuff, obviously. But I'm still reading 1984 by George Orwell. Will I ever finish that? I just don't know. And in regards to what I've been listening to, well. Let me just go on my Spotify that's on my laptop. I've been listening to the new 9 Inch Nails. Trent Reznor has been an absolute legend and released 2 instrumental albums this
Not
week.
1, but 2.
Yeah, because he loves doing it in volumes. And they're, I mean, from what I've listened to so far, they're really, really good. They are long songs though, normally about 8 to 12 minutes in length on each one of them. So it is quite a lot to listen to, but I've been enjoying it. I've been listening to a bit of old Kendrick Lamar, of course. J. Cole we were listening to yesterday because that's nice. Parquet Courts, which I believe I spoke about the other day because I've seen them. But they're fucking amazing. I love Parquet Courts. Please give them a listen. And I've also been listening to Albert Hammond Jr.'s B-sides that he released recently, which were from his last album, but they've only just come on streaming. But they are really, 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 really good. And I've been absolutely plagiarising the shit out of them for the new songs that I'm writing. So that's always good. The best people just copy a little bit of stuff.
That's very true.
And to be honest with you, that's mainly what I've been listening to. I haven't had a huge week. It's been weird considering I've been at home a lot. Haven't been actually listening to that much music. I've had quite an unmusical few days. But yeah, Nathan, are you ready now? Have you got more evidence?
I mean, there is one bit of evidence I did forget about, which you can shove up your big old booty. Is in 1989 in the Tiananmen Square protest.
Sorry.
I don't know how to pronounce the name of most countries in the world. Tiananmen.
I'm not even going to correct you. Just do.
Right.
Just do it.
There was this guy, and he actually got moved out of the way of the tank. But many people recall him actually getting killed by the tank and it being a big news thing. But he didn't. He got moved out of the way of the tank. But many people have said that he died. So that's a.
Did you think that personally?
I saw the video and he definitely moved out of the way, and I wasn't there. But it was the people that were there that thought he was killed.
The people who were there who thought he was killed.
Yeah, but then the evidence from the film show that it's not true, and that those people.
Well,
there's
a series about that actually.
What the?
There's a series about the fact that people think he died on TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally didn't think he died because the thing I remember from that is him being stood in front of it. Then my memory cuts off and I don't think of anything else past it. But I guess with some of these, it might be different because if you were growing up at the time of this happening, maybe it would be something that you remember differently.
And to be fair, a lot of the stuff anyway is based from your childhood anyway. It's not so much as being an adult from being.
But do you? I don't know. I still think it's horseshit.
I still think it's real.
So is there anything else other than Tank Man?
I have to do so much more in-depth research to find history, but I just got the Curious Georgia and Looney Tunes for now.
I am honestly, I think it's very interesting. I think the false memory thing is true on a psychological concept, but I don't believe there is a unifying idea that everybody has these false memories.
No, it's not that everybody has the same false memories,
What?
but everyone has at least a false memory in their life.
Yeah, everybody has one of them, but I don't get why it's got why can't it just be called the false memory thing, not the Mandela effect?
Just because, why is your first song on your album called 15 Years Not Track 1?
That's got nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, okay, I'm fine. I was reaching for straws.
Yeah, I'm glad you think it's true, but I'm interested to hear what people think. Does everybody else remember C3PO with a silver leg? Does everybody else remember? Does everyone else think that we're in an alternative universe where Nelson Mandela died in prison? I think this is a bit overblown. That's what it is.
Well, okay, that's fine.
But thank you for your report.
It's okay.
No, I've enjoyed it. I think this is a general rant. We're not meant to agree.
No, we're meant to rant.
And next week I'm gonna rant about bullshit theories which fucking BuzzFeed puts online and expects people to believe in. I don't get it. But if I want to hear from
if
people,
you do want a good video to watch
effect?
though, if you do want a good video to watch as well, is Life's Biggest Questions, because that's where I actually first learned about this a few years ago.
Of course. Life's biggest questions.
Yeah.
Does C3PO have a silver leg?
I mean, I won't lie to you. Anyway,
Nathan, what have you been, other than watching this fascinating video?
So I read today, actually. I didn't know that there is like an entire part of Google for scholars. Did you know this?
Yeah, I did it for my uni.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's my university research.
This is how I don't how much I don't research things. But I didn't know there was a whole bit for scholars. I spent like an hour just reading some scholar papers on Freud, which I think was really weird. There's some weird shit there. I read a lot of Facebook statuses that really pissed me off recently. I haven't read any books. I probably should. Just emails, Facebook. Proper millennial shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, you might as well get me
Gen
a fucking
Z.
Kindle. Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of variations of stuff. I've been just hitting shuffle on my Apple Music while I've been working, like, and going one from like Big Sean to like the Bellamy Brothers.
Nice.
Is quite a gap. We started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine yesterday, which was really good. The season 6. I've watched Vikings a little bit. I watched a bit of South Park yesterday as well when I went up to bed. That was quite fun. I haven't seen like the latest 2 seasons. They were quite okay. I mean, I saw a funny meme saying about this whole COVID-19 thing will make a really good season for South Park, and it probably will. I'll be laughing at it in a few months. I think a few years. But yeah, just that really. I think everyone just like the final message should be everyone stay safe. Make sure you're keeping your social
No, it's not the
distance.
final message. Have you got your phone with you?
Ah, yes. They have all gone though, but I did note some down.
No, you go on your thing and it has the responses.
Yeah, but because it was over 24 hours ago.
Yeah, go on archive, mate.
There's a thing called archive. How'd you get there?
Oh, do you want me to do it?
Yeah, please. That'd be lovely.
Dear God. So you go on there, go on archive, and then this is from yesterday.
That is incredible. I had no idea.
So what did you ask the people? Sorry.
Oh, that wasn't it. I asked the people just because yesterday I thought we were going to do a podcast, but I fell asleep. A lot of people having rants. Just asked them about what was pissing them off while they've been in isolation. Had a couple of legit responses, a couple of not so legit responses. I'll go for the legit responses first. Sam, our good friend Sam, said the simple aspect of not having access to majority of takeaways. He misses his Burger King.
Oh, I bet he does.
Yeah, I mean
Sam
that
loves
kid.
a good old Burger King.
He used to have a good old Burger King every.
There's still a lot of takeaways going though.
I mean, yeah,
Sam,
but
find
in
a new-
but in
find
Milton
a
Keynes,
new
there's not as
local-
many takeaways.
Find a new one.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably.
Go to the kebab van.
Yeah,
Aussie.
I mean, no, not even Aussie as well. Like Aussie's always a good shout, but I think they're called like Kebab King or something. They posted something on Facebook the other day saying they were still open over by Shenley Wood. They're still open.
They
for
are the
business.
kings of kebab.
We've got another friend called Sam, but his name is Sam Hicks. He said people making these shit political look, they had the money all along to help people. Oh, that doesn't make any sense.
I think he's saying that.
Oh,
people
he's
are
saying
using hindsight.
Yeah,
I
saying
do
that,
kind of agree though.
Yeah.
Like, where has his money been then? Yeah, that's kind of shitty though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it is pretty stupid.
I tell you what's been pissing me off is all the people going, I've got to find it. This is the fucking funniest thing I've seen in a fair little while. It was someone. I looked on the person who wrote this, but it was fucking hilarious. It's a picture of Boris Johnson. It said, "Regardless of what you think about this man, whether you're Labour, Cons, Green, or any other party, this man is in charge. He truly looks knackered, so worn down, and literally has the weight of Britain on his shoulders. He also has a pregnant girlfriend." What she doesn't know is Boris Johnson has about 6 unknown children. Did you know that? Not even a joke. He's got like a 20-something-year-old son. Like
He's a bit of a stud.
You're not a bit of a stud. He's basically a single parent with 6 kids, but he fucking hates them if they don't have the money for it. So worn down. He also has a pregnant girlfriend and is probably worried about his unborn baby's life too. Doesn't affect children. Why would you be worried? So, whilst you're all out panic buying, spending every minute with our kids, even though most people probably moan about that, and in general whinging about what he hasn't done, this guy can't do that, and is attending meetings continuously, has probably had no time for his family, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's isolating from his partner. The guy is trying so hard for everyone. Let's show him some support, because whether you like him or not, he's in charge. Hashtag whatever it takes. It's not fucking... This isn't Avengers Endgame. Like... Anyway, so I looked on this person's profile picture, and fair to say, they are a fucking weapon. So, let's have a look at what this person wrote. "That's it, I've had enough. I'm going down the gym. Anyone who knows it's open, as the sign says closed, but can't understand why, they have taken my direct debit out. Should I cancel it or just keep paying it?" You're complaining. You just had a fucking statement about saying we shouldn't be complaining about anything. I've got to find it because I went through this person's profile the other day, and it is absolutely. It all gets.
I mean, people nowadays anyway are very.
I just don't know this whole like
hypocritical.
middle-aged woman like kind of like Facebook. Give him all the fucking sympathy. It's like he's the Prime Minister. This is his fucking job.
Yeah, I mean.
Do you know what I mean? You
yeah.
don't. People this week been clapping for the NHS, and I'm like, yeah, you should fucking be doing that.
I thought you were gonna go somewhere completely different.
No,
though, Callum, and I was like, well,
but
we
you
don't
should
say
you
that
should
on
be
the podcast.
instead of clapping for him, maybe you should be fucking voting for people who give
Yeah.
them a pay raise.
Yeah.
Or get more nurses.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing that we've learned as well as a country is just how much we need the NHS. Like, and like the whole thing about it getting pay cuts and things like that, it should not be a thing. Like, in fact, like nurses, I think the whole thing where they're like, oh, look at footballers' wages and then look at nurses'
Not
wages.
the same.
It's not the same field, so
Stop
don't
complaining.
stop comparing it. Do you know what I mean? I think they should be paid more money.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
But I
definitely.
think footballers should be paid less as well.
Yeah.
But you can't be like, do you know why a footballer gets paid that much? It's because they get sponsored.
Yeah.
And it's because they're a part of a multi-billion-pound team.
That's why they can.
If a nurse, you know, what would a nurse get sponsored by? Like a stethoscope company? And it like comes up on like screens like ESPN. It's like, and today's nurse is sponsored by Dr. Stethoscope. Anyway, anyway, sorry. Carry on with your messages from the phone.
Oh yeah, and then I had some not so many legitimate answers. Yeah. I had "Don't lick the fucking railings, Nathan," from my manager because she thinks that I lick railings. And someone said that their hand hurts too much. Her hand hurts after masturbating too much. I did have a nice one from...
Who was that?
That was my friend Jack.
Get a fucking life, mate.
And then, actually, my friend Molly put not seeing my husband, which was quite cute. That's me, by the way, because I'm pretty cool like that. But yeah, that was pretty much all it was. There wasn't any more.
Are you married?
Yeah.
I had a false memory that you were.
I've been married for 16 years.
So your parents married you off as a child.
Yeah. So it all came from a childhood trauma.
Explains so much. And with that, I think we will say goodbye now.
Yeah, adios, amigos. Stay safe.
Wash your hands.
Wash your
20
hands.
Seconds. Stay 2 meters apart from each other.
And don't masturbate as much.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Oh.